going to have a hearing to explore the ethics of the Supreme Court. Have you made any decisions about who would be a witness at that hearing? Would you want to hear from Clarence Thomas directly?
Well, of course I would like to, but I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to discuss the agenda and program. But what we've called on Chief Justice Roberts to do is to accept the responsibility at the court. As Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, he has to understand that Clarence Thomas's conduct is absolutely unacceptable from an ethical basis. To restore the integrity and the reputation of the court, they have to do something. An investigation followed by a change in the approach on ethics.
Some of your Republican colleagues are saying, well, hey, look, we all amend our disclosures. We all make
Oh, great. Let's get a 20-year amendment. I'd like to see it from Clarence Thomas to disclose all of the travel that this billionaire is paying for yachts and private planes all over the world. I'd like to see the disclosure come out about this purchase by the billionaire of his mother's home and remodeling it for whatever purpose. That had to cost more than $100,000, has never been disclosed. So an amendment, it's going to be a pretty thick one when it comes to Clarence Thomas.
Should Congress impose a new ethical standard? Can Congress impose a new ethical standard?
This is what we need to discuss because we're dealing with another branch of government. We've done things in the past that applied to federal judges as well as ourselves, so we're going to have to take this very carefully.
Senator, on the leaked docs,
this really needs to be a red alert moment for our democracy. I mean, we fight over everything, but why on earth would we choose to fight over whether a Supreme Court justice can be paid on a regular basis by a party that has constant interest before the court? This is black and white. You can't be a justice on the Supreme Court and be getting gifts, trips, and housing deals from a guy who is regularly appearing before the Supreme Court. So to me, it's just kind of sad that we're fighting over this and that Republicans feel like they have to defend Justice Thomas's conduct. It's just absolutely outrageous.
You've been at this effort for a decade or more at this point. Why do you think it's never gained traction, it's never gotten there?
Well, I have spoken to Senator Durbin about the bill that I've introduced for 10 years, getting a hearing before the Judiciary Committee. It just makes sense to me that if you're a Supreme Court judge, you should be bound by an ethics code like we are in Congress, like every other federal judge is.
Justice Thomas and these reports that came out over the recess, how concerned are you about some of those reports about his?
Well, listen, first of all, I had the privilege to clerk. I didn't clerk for Justice Thomas, but I saw him when I was a clerk on the court. I have the utmost respect for him. I don't know him very well personally, but I have tremendous respect for him personally. And I just have a hard time believing that he hasn't complied with the law. As I understand it, I haven't looked at his disclosures. I haven't gone back and looked at all that myself. But I understand that the law does have an exemption for personal property that's being lived in. I think his mother still lives in this property. So to me, this is part of a multi-decade effort to hound this justice. And you really have to ask, why is that the case? Why is he treated differently than everybody else? It's really extraordinary.
Do you think, though, perhaps...
It may raise an eyebrow from our perspective, but the question is it consistent with the Article 3 branch's ethics and disclosure rules? And then whether or not there should be a reconsideration of that in my mind should be something that separate and equal branch should take on, not the U.S. Senate. Sounds like there may be a little bit of politics in there. Got to go.
Thank you.